Chapter 5. The Boone family dinner schedule was as predictable as a clock on the wall. On Mondays, they ate at Robilio's, an old Italian place downtown, not far from the office. On Tuesdays, they ate soup and sandwiches at a homeless shelter where they volunteered. On Wednesdays, Mr. Boone picked up carry-out Chinese from Dragon Lady, and they ate on folding trays as they watched television. On Thursdays, Miss Boone picked up a roasted chicken at Turkish Deli, and they ate it with hummus and pita bread. On Fridays, they ate fish at Miloff's, a popular restaurant owned by an old Lebanese couple who yelled at each other constantly. On Saturdays, each of the three Boones took turns choosing what and where to eat. Theo usually preferred pizza and a movie. On Sundays, Miss Boone finally did her own cooking, which was Theo's least favorite meal of the week, though he was too smart to say so. Marcella didn't like to cook. She worked hard and spent long hours at the office and simply did not enjoy rushing home and facing more work in the kitchen. Besides, there were plenty of good ethnic restaurants and delicatessens in Strattonburg, and it made much more sense to let real chefs do the cooking, at least in the opinion of Miss Marcella Boone. Theo didn't mind, nor did his father. When she did cook, she expected her husband and her son to clean up afterwards. Both men preferred to avoid the dishwashing. Dinner was always at 7 p.m. on the dot, another clear sign of organized people who hurried through each day with one eye on the clock. Theo placed his paper plate of chicken chow mein and sweet and sour shrimp on his TV tray and settled on the sofa. He then lowered a smaller plate onto the floor, where Judge was sitting with great anticipation. Judge loved Chinese food and expected to eat in the den with the humans. Dog food insulted him. After a couple of bites, Mr. Boone asked, "So, Theo, any news on April?" "No, sir, just a lot of gossip at school." "That poor child," Miss Boone said. "I'm sure everyone at school was worried. That's all we talked about. A total waste. I should stay at home tomorrow and help with the search." "That's a pretty lame effort," Mr. Boone said. "Did you guys talk to the police about Miss Fenimore and explain to them that she's lying about being home with April? That she wasn't home Monday or Tuesday night? That she's a weirdo who's taking pills and neglecting her daughter?" Silence. The room was quiet for a few minutes. Then Miss Boone said, "No, Theo, we did not. We discussed it and decided to wait." "But why?" His father said, "Because it won't help the police to find April. We plan to wait for a day or two. It's still being discussed." "You're not eating," Theo, his mother said. And it was true. He had no appetite. The food seemed to stop halfway down his esophagus, where a dull throbbing pain blocked everything. "I'm not hungry," he said. Later, halfway through a rerun of Law and Order, a local newsbreak blasted out of the latest. The search for April Fenimore continued, with the police still tight-lipped about it. They flashed a photo of April, then one of the missing posters Theo and his gang had distributed. Immediately after this, there was the same ominous mugshot of Jack Leeper, looking like a serial killer. The reporter gushed, "As the police are investigating the possibility that Jack Leeper, after his escape from prison in California, returned to Strattonburg to see his pen pal, April Fenimore." The police are investigating a lot of things, Theo thought to himself. That doesn't mean they're all true. He had thought about Leeper all day, and he was certain that April would never open the door for such a creep. He had told himself over and over that the kidnapping theory could be nothing but one big coincidence. Leeper escaped from prison, returned to Strattonburg because he lived there many years ago, and got himself caught on videotape at a convenience store at the exact same time April decided to run away. Theo knew April well, but he also realized there were many things about her he didn't know, nor did he want to. Was it possible that she would run away without word to him? Slowly, he began to believe the answer was yes. He was on the sofa under a quilt, with Judge wedged close to his chest, and at some point both fell asleep. Theo had been awake since 4:30 that morning and was sleep deprived. Physically and emotionally, he was exhausted. And that's the end of chapter 5.